My name is Priya and I'm a student ambassador from the Frisco, Texas area.
I'm also a student ambassador from Building U, and I also live in the Frisco, Texas area as well.
We're really glad you could join us today. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Agrisea?
So my name's Luke, CEO and co-founder of Agrisea, and the best way to describe Agrisea is as an ocean agriculture company. What that really means is that we grow rice in the oceans. So we found a way to be able to turn on dormant genes within crops that allow them to be able to use salt to their advantage rather than defend against it. And so we can have these floating farms all around the world, not just in rice, in many other crops too, which we're starting to work within. And the idea is to be able to not just solve world hunger, but at the same time be able to for sustainable food production on a global scale, and not trying to focus on the two main requirements that traditionally agriculture has, which is access to fresh water and fertile land. With ocean agriculture, you need neither of those things. You can really open up the opportunities to a very broad approach.
What really motivated you to start Agrisea?
I've always been interested in creating and building things, and I was very lucky to be encouraged to do that when I was younger as well. And so that creative aspect of building, or at least imagining how to solve a problem, was really something very important to me going into my career. And I did go to university, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go down the academic route. That's what I want to do. I'm going to be a professor. And I went into my master's, and although it was a fantastic experience, I did get quite frustrated with academia. It just didn't move fast enough. It wasn't implementing or applying technologies as quickly as it could do, even though you have some of the smartest minds on the planet working on a problem. And so I wanted to find a route instead that allowed anyone to be able to implement a solution to a problem. And I found that startups as a whole is such a good way of doing that. Really, you can come up with a solution to any problem. And hopefully if someone believes in what you're capable of, you can actually then follow that through to create a company of it. And that's really what we got the approach from. So once I knew I wanted to do startups, I was like, okay, what are the biggest problems in the world that we're facing to create a sustainable planet? And the UN SDGs, so the UN Sustainable Development Goals, are a set of goals that all basically are focused around that problem. How do we get from not sustainable to sustainable on a global scale? And number two is no hunger. And so I was like, okay, this is something I can apply myself to. I just studied biology. I've got a master's that focused on plant regulation and hormone regulation in plants. And I was like, okay, this is something certainly that I could at least have an interesting approach to. And so applied myself to it, looked at the problem, really tried to understand why hunger is so prevalent around the world, which is really important. You've got to approach a problem by first understanding it. And came up with 3 solutions. So the first one was super short term, pretty cool, fun, but wouldn't really solve anything long term. The one was way too long term, it was way out in the future and kind of crazy. And the second one is what ended up becoming Agrisea. And then I went on a long journey of being able to try and understand really how we could go from being able to grow crops in fields to the ocean, and what that would take. It would take salt tolerance, it would take a farm type structure. Is there enough nutrients there? What type of locations? How do we even make a business from this and make money? Because then we can scale it and put it around the world. And I went into all of that understanding, that journey of being just kind of teaching myself that process.